welcome out here.
Hey, thanks.
We got Jonathan West here and his daughter Caitlin. Say your last name again. Sorry.
Echeverse. We used to be West.
You see West and
A
Caitlin.
little easier.
Perfect. So they're here from Jonathan's restaurant over in Ogunquit, which I think most people know very well, I'm sure. Thanks for coming out here. I appreciate it. Appreciate having you guys on. And but yeah, well, if you want to start out, just kind of tell me a little bit about what you do and anything that goes along with it, and a little bit about Jonathan's too, and kind of go from there.
That's a loaded question, I think, for my father, but we might be here for a while.
Yeah, what I do?
What do you do, Dad?
Well, on the way out here, I felt pretty comfortable because I used to ride my bike out here, go fishing down the river.
Yeah.
Quarter mile down the road here when I was a kid. Because I'm from here, and it's back in the days when you were a kid. That's what you did. You rode your bike up the mountain, and but I own a restaurant, and
so you're a longtime local too.
And for 49 years, I'm from here all my life so far. I still might move away, but I don't plan on it yet. I've always done some sort of food to table of some kind at the restaurant, farm to table.
Yeah,
and I've always used some sort of fresh product out of the ocean locally. I try to source everything I can, and we have since we opened up. We've always done that.
Yep. Yeah. So one thing my dad mentioned it when I said I was having you on is you're a big farmer. That's like kind of one of the big aspects of what you guys do over there at Jonathan's, and a big thing that you're very involved in too.
I am. I forgot. I think we did almost a full quarter of an acre of vegetables. I used to do animals as well. I had 30, 40 sheep for a while, and we did a lot of the lamb, and I finally gave that up about 4 years ago. I started to get too stupid, so I gave up raising the lamb. But I still do about 5 or 6 different vegetables always, and lettuces, various lettuces. This year, unfortunately, I lost about 700 pounds of squash to the deer.
Oh yeah,
the deer are pretty heavy
everywhere lately, right?
So yeah, they're pretty heavy this year. So.
Yeah, I've noticed even just driving down the road or around my house and stuff. Just they're in the road, they're on the side of the road, they're all over the place. It seems like they are taking over right now.
They are. I don't think as many people hunt.
Yeah, so, that could make sense.
I know that when I was a kid, I shot my first rabbit out in my backyard where the restaurant is.
Yeah. And, most people wouldn't dream about even shooting or hunting out down that way nowadays.
No.
How popular the town is and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something that's kind of a cultural thing, I feel like, too, just like the hunting. And there's still a wide range. If you go further north in Maine, obviously, too, it's becomes more prevalent. But down this way, I think for sure there's less hunting than there was, which I think might contribute to that deer population just exploding this year.
I think it does, and people are feeding them more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, there was one in front of the restaurant 3 days ago.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's getting pretty aggressive.
Yeah, that's in very, very urban area.
Yeah,
downtown Ogunquit.
Wasn't Louise our office manager? She was saying the deer was just laying in our yard the other day, just chilling.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a nuisance for someone like you as a farmer. Relying on a lot of that crop to go to make this farm to table kind of restaurant stuff like that. When the deer hit that hard, it becomes kind of a nuisance for you. They do allow farmers, the state does, right, to if there's a nuisance animal, it's a continuous problem.
Yeah, I can take care of them if I tried not to do that this year. I fenced. I put 4 days of fence up and different heights, different electricity, a little bit of everything, but it didn't stop them. So I might have to use the old-fashioned method next year, which I haven't. I don't hunt very much at all. It's I don't like game that much. So I used to when I was younger.
Yeah,
it was all it was fun to eat and cook. It was great cooking. It's it's pretty tough to cook. Game is an interesting thing to cook because it doesn't have any fat on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to have some skills to make it taste good. It's not like a piece of fatty beef or fatty pork. It's pretty easy to make that taste good.
Yeah.
Cook
almost anyone can cook a piece of beef or pork.
Cook it slow and on the pork or beef, and fat's going to seize out, and it's going to be delicious.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a moose or a deer tenderloin or one of those turkeys. I mean, they're just miserable tasting.
Yeah, I mean the turkey, and I think a lot of people don't realize the turkeys that you get at the store versus the turkeys you hunt in the wild are totally different.
Right.
Like meat wise, it's a much more gamey piece of meat than
they're
farm raised
terrible.
turkey.
I've even tried doing them, and I'm not much at, I like different cuisines, but I've tried some Oriental stuff with turkeys and wild turkey, and you still can't make it taste good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never had a wild turkey before. I've gotten a couple of deer over the year and stuff like that, and some grouse, some ground birds and stuff like that. And I actually didn't mind the ground bird that I shot ate. That tasted to me just similar to chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I had like deer burgers and deer steaks, stuff like that, a freezer full of it for a while. And I enjoyed it. It's nice, like when you feel like you're getting this animal that you went out and you took the time to like hunt, scout it out, hunt it, skinned it, field dress it, all that stuff. There's a different type of feeling when it's something like that rather than just going to the store and buying that piece of meat that you just throw in the grill and it's done. It's
interesting. You're talking about a ground bird being a pheasant or grouse. Yeah. I've had different times in my life where I've had a lot of different wild animals, and there was makes me think of Thanksgiving coming up, and there was one Thanksgiving I was living in Nova Scotia, and it was in the I want to say it was in the early 80s, early 70s, mid-70s, early mid-70s, and I had a 7-mile line of rabbit snares, and I would walk it every day, twice a day, and check my snares. And lots of times I would get different types of animals besides rabbits. And one year before Thanksgiving, I got 2 porcupines, and so I brought those back. And that Thanksgiving, I made a delicious stuffed porcupine for Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that come out?
It was delicious. Porcupines, but especially in the fall, they're eating vegetables. Mm-hmm. They're vegetarian, so that's all they're eating, and they're eating summer and fall vegetables. In the winter, in Nova Scotia, this is in Nova Scotia, and in the winter they get a little sprucey because they'll eat a lot of spruce in the winter. Mm. So if you're eating them in February, March, April, they're going to be a little stronger in flavor. Mm-hmm. But no, they were like a lamb, somewhere between, they were like a lamb, just kind of wild grain fed.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I've never heard of the pork. I've had a squirrel. Like I used to do the White Pines summer camp programs when I was little, and we had squirrel one time, which I thought wasn't even that bad either, but that's interesting. The porcupine, never heard of that being prepared in that way.
Yeah, it was great. It was
great, really. But you haven't had it since the 70s.
I have.
Let's clarify.
It's not on the menu. Jonathan's at all.
To the general public, I have honestly never served it.
Okay, thank you. Let's just clarify that.
We are completely safe.
So you lived in Nova Scotia for a little while?
Yeah, I lived up there a couple of winters.
Yep.
Yeah. I always worked in Ogunquit in the summers. I spent. I started my first job, that kind of a rural job, was picking berries up at Joe Houston's farm up in Moody, and I picked strawberries and raspberries, and that was, I think I was 10 or 11. And I did that, and then I went and Barnacle Billy's opened up, and my brother worked there, and my mother worked there, and in fact, my Uncle Richmond's chowder recipe was, I think, what they opened up with there. I think that's what it was. And I worked there for a year, 2. And then I ended up going to work for the Shack. And I worked at the Shack for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was really my only job I really ever had. Then I opened up Jonathan's.
You opened up Jonathan's.
But I liked working in the shack. I made a lot of money working hard, 12, 14-hour days for 6 months, 5 months a year. I got a chance to meet a lot of interesting people. I remember twice I had made lobster rolls for Katharine Hepburn, which was kind of exciting. She drove by, she came by, and she didn't get out of her car. But her chauffeur would stop in front both times, and I would go out, and she had that great smile. She was really fun to.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like celebrities that have been in and around Ogunquit for ever for the last 50, 60 years, wherever that are a little well known that they've been and they go and they enjoy it and stuff like that. And even living in Ogunquit too, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
over the years, I've just heard of various names that have come up. So what year did you open up Jonathan's?
Opened up 1976.
Yep.
There's a little real estate drop, and my dad owned the house there. It was a house, and he tried to sell it because he was in a different type. It was in a trucking business, and it really wasn't conducive to being in Ogunquit anymore. It really had changed. Ogunquit's gone through some mutations.
Yeah.
And, but interesting enough, Ogunquit really hasn't had any mutations that have destroyed the town. It's changed the town, and it's changed a little bit of the identity of the town.
Yeah.
But it has never mutated it out of being a beautiful village.
Yeah, that's kind of something I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because being a business owner in Ogunquit since 1976, I feel like you'd have a lot of insight and like a lot of views of the changes the town's gone through since then, and even before then, because you worked in Ogunquit always your whole life. So I'm curious what your thoughts are and what you've seen along the way from then until now.
Well, I've seen some great things. Growing up there in the 50s, I mean, I remember, I remember Gentile only signs in some of the hotels.
Yeah.
My dad's hotel wasn't one of them, but they were pretty common.
What hotel did your dad own?
The Colonial Inn.
The Colonial Inn.
Yeah, that was my great grandfather's, and built or took it over in 1922.
Wow.
And then my dad ended up taking it over in the late 40s. My grandmother ran it, and then I took it over. I mean, my dad took it over in the late 40s and sold it in the early mid 60s. And we as a family moved to where the restaurant was, and then he wanted to get out of Ogunquit because it started to get too crowded.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't like it today, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it definitely changed.
Yeah,
it changed. Liquor laws. They started selling liquor, so it took another change. It mutated one more time, and then it had another mutation later on. I think the other mutation was when they took parking requirements off of Shore Road for businesses.
Okay,
and when they opened that up to businesses without parking requirements, it put pretty much families out of the houses because their value of the houses became more valuable selling T-shirts because or whatever they were selling, at the time. They didn't
require parking, like a number of parking. What year was that when they?
I'm not sure when that last one happened. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know that the zoning changed a little bit, and it made a difference in the village. But it they kept some pretty strong rules on trying to preserve some houses.
Yep.
So that the structures were staying the same, and they were, they weren't really. They had a really big battle about, discos and dancing and the type of crowd that was coming in, and they were afraid of all that stuff. And they realized it really didn't matter what was going on inside the building. It was more important, whether you could hear it from the outside. So they had some good, strong noise ordinances, and that, that helped keep everything in check, which, I thought I was really supportive with. It's whatever you do inside the business is your business, but just keep it inside.
Yeah. So when you opened in 76, what was like the general landscape of the town back then? Like what was the big restaurants, places to go, hotels, anything like that? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't nearly what it is today.
Back then, Richard Perkins was one of the bigger restaurateurs, and he had a lot of people that he had Poor Richard's Tavern, Poor Richard's Pub. He had the Dickie Dare. Those were three of the restaurants right in town that he had. So he was kind of the leader of kind of fine dining. And I know that he first actually operated my dad's coffee shop at the hotel. And I think that was in the late 50s. As a young kid, he did that. And we kind of all followed. People kind of followed in his steps. A lot of the waiters became restaurant owners. I know the trolley shop opened up. That was an early. And when I say these are all 60s restaurants, which had all of that 3.5, 4-star restaurant feeling to them, all having linens, all, polished silverware,
Yep.
That not quite 5-star, but no more 3-star.
Yeah.
So that was the leader of the next level of dining coming into town. And I know our first menu we were really out there. We had avocados and oysters on the menu.
Yeah, that is out there for back then.
So yeah, that's funny that you see something like back then that was out there, and now almost every
Full
menu,
circle.
Right. You go to has that option on it for people. There's avocado this, avocado that.
Oysters. They've always been in Maine, but still,
I had traveled. I had first of all, I had the oyster pot. That my interest in being with you here. My interest in food was my uncle Richmond, who was your great grandfather, lived on Pine Hill, and my closest cousin was my cousin Greg, and that was his son, and we used to hunt together. And my uncle Richmond raised oysters in the back of Perkins Cove in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s. He used to salt codfish up on Pine Hill, up underneath the basketball hoop up there. He was a great farmer. He was always one to make sure you had radishes and eating radishes in April. I mean, it was crazy stuff. He taught me a tremendous amount about basic foods and basic understandings of food and how to, the preservations of food and canning foods and salting foods and preserving foods. Is very, very bright, very, very, and I think that was just old school stuff. So that got a huge interest in food for me.
Yeah.
I did not want to go catch it. I hated boats. He loved boats. They
were all lobstermen. I feel like most of us had
tuna
lobstermen, tuna men, barbers.
I went out and I puked. Forget it. I'll cook it. I'm not catching it.
Well, that's interesting. Like the, farming, like raising the oysters in the back of Perkins Cove, salting the cod up on Pine Hill. It's like traditional stuff that you wouldn't really see or expect today down this way. I mean, you go further north in Maine, and I kind of speak to this quite a bit. It's like the more traditional stuff that used to happen around here has pushed further and further north, where you see that stuff still happening. Right. You got to go, 3-4 hours north to do that.
You do.
Down here, you wouldn't see anyone salting cod out in there, their basketball hoop up off Pine Hill Road.
No, you wouldn't.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see all that change has happened in just, do you think about it, 50 years, something like that.
Right. So then in lieu of going to college in the late 60s, I chose to go to Europe. And I went to Europe in 69, 68. In fact, I was thinking Apollo 12. I remember seeing Apollo 12 on TVs in the streets of Greece, of Athens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting time.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, November 69. And that Thanksgiving, I remember spending my Thanksgiving that year in Matala, Crete, and I spent it. It was kind of a hippie area people were going to, and it was in the old caves, the ancient ruins, and at the time you could stay in them, but you had to throw whoever or whatever was in there, and there were some pigs in my cave that I went into, so I moved the pigs out.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know, it was really
wow,
bizarre. I swept it out, obviously, and cleaned it up, and there I stayed for a couple of weeks, and that's where I spent Thanksgiving that year.
Wow,
with mostly American hippies and European hippies. It was quite a time. It was a fun Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's quite the experience.
And I do remember most of it.
Yeah.
I will be honest about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you must have drew a lot of, inspiration for what Jonathan's was and what Jonathan's is from that trip to Europe.
I did.
Being over that way.
I did. That trip was great. I learned a lot about food. I learned a lot about beverages. And I learned about different types of food. Being in different countries, it was back in the days when you traveled by train, you had to stop in every country and go through passport changes. Then you had to change currencies. So, I mean, it was really dramatic, much more so than it is today with the euro, and people pass through, and there's certainly some homogenization of everything in Europe, and there wasn't then. There wasn't. You clearly, when you were in Switzerland, and when you were in, or in that case, I was in Yugoslavia, which was Croatia, and Serbia, and God, it was what a trip it was. It was the foods I ate. I remember being in Greece, pasta. A dish of pasta with olive oil and grated cheese was 5 cents. I mean, it was a very affordable
and still memorable.
And very memorable, all of it. Yeah. Most of all the food was very memorable. And then the next year I came back over, and I came back through Portugal. And once again, there was a whole different type of food coming in from Portugal, with the salt cod being, one of the main products coming out of there, and going into Spain and into Madrid, and then going back into Italy, down into Florence, and retracing my steps a little bit again, because there were some areas that I liked so much and I learned so much.
Yep. No, I can imagine. Yeah. So, coming back towards Jonathan's, I guess. So today, I think Jonathan's, correct me if I'm wrong, is known as kind of like, you do a lot of entertainment there, obviously like good food, good dining and stuff like that. So did it kind of transform into what it is today, or did it always start out to be kind of known as that place?
Something that happened recently. Ogunquit got an article, a blurb written up by Forbes magazine.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Just recently, and it was being one of the top 50 villages in the world. Mm-hmm. Nicest villages in the world, most beautiful villages.
Yeah, most top 50 most beautiful. I've seen that going around recently.
And it didn't list any of the hoopla. Mm-hmm. It listed the beach. It listed the marginal way. It listed Persico. It didn't list any of the hoopla that goes on in Ogunquit, which is part of what we do, which is a pretty important piece of it.
Yeah.
Today. But it didn't list it. It was great that they captured it. But the one thing they did capture, they didn't mention any place except Jonathan's. And the interesting thing about the restaurant is, although we do cater to locals, I think it captures what the village is, in a sense of people from outside seeing what they like, because it isn't a lot of hoopla going on there. It's pretty much what it was. It started out what it was, and it still is what it is. You've got some other places in Ogunquit that probably are 2-star or 2.5-star restaurant that have some classic Ogunquit style, but they don't quite have what we have, and we've had over 50 years.
Yeah.
And we've had the ability to be innovative, but to consistently keep what we have. And, there's about 300 pieces of artwork, and 90% of them are all based in the last century and a half in southern Maine, and mostly Ogunquit.
Yep.
So people come in, they get a feel for what it is. It feels like Ogunquit because it is Ogunquit. Mm-hmm. It's the arts of Ogunquit. The music, they mentioned the music and the saxophone player and the piano player. Well, the saxophone player's been there for 35 years. I mean, it's a piece of what we have. You come in and you have, you can walk through the lounge or going into the dining room and you've got that feeling of something, a little live jazz and, not really in your face, not screaming at you, just talking to you really kind of, with an easy sense to it.
Yeah.
And they captured it pretty well. So I was really pleased that they did capture it the way they did.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
You've always had that, right? Like, I mean, yes, the entertainment and the music has evolved over the years, but you always had live music.
We did.
Once you open the doors, right?
We did. We did. We've always had people there, even before we had ticketed music.
Yeah.
Even in the lounge. I mean, Tommy Makem from Dover, from the Clancy brothers, they would come in and, we always have had people there. It's for whatever reason. It's, I don't know. It just has always been, it's always attracted certain groups of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of see, I mentioned I work Cleo Farm. I kind of see like Jonathan's Cleo Farm as those traditional, really capturing Ogunquit spaces.
Correct.
In Ogunquit. If you compare it, and there's a certain, feel and clientele and time for that, for sure, that everyone wants to experience, that classic Ogunquit feel, the artwork, the live music, whether it's ticketed or not ticketed, the lounge, the bar, that kind of thing. And it gives you more of a traditional feeling. And I think it's great. I think a lot of people want to experience that. And then, you can still go and do the new stuff and do this stuff and do whatever it is downtown, whether it's Front Porch, whether it's Levitt or anything like that. But I feel like it all blends, pretty well together in terms of giving people even options, a balance of, what Ogunquit really is.
It does. You're right. I think what's happened is interesting is the 5-star is gone. And God bless the gentleman from Arrows, because they set the bar for a lot of us, and it was really a great bar to set. I'm really pleased that they did. But that 5-star crowd sort of left Ogunquit, and they moved to other places.
Yeah, I don't think I'd classify if any restaurant really is a 5-star restaurant.
We don't anymore.
Yeah,
we don't anymore. And I was going towards that, and I backed down. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I wasn't. It didn't feel like where we were. We do what we do, and we do it good, and we're happy with what we do.
Yeah.
And most of our customers are too. They don't.
Yeah, I feel like there was an era for the 5-star in Ogunquit for sure. Like you're talking probably, pre-70s, those 60s timeframe, 50s timeframe, where there was an era for the 5-star people. And those are the only people that vacationed back then too, were the people that dined at 5-star restaurants. Now, anyone can get in their car, drive up to Ogunquit and feel like they can vacation there, but back then it's a different clientele completely, because it was just kind of the elite, the aristocrats, those people that came up, they're in their tuxes, they're in their suits or whatever, whether it was Arrows or I know the one on the hill in Perkins Cove there, the Dancing Fan. And there's probably a host of others that have come and gone along the way too, that were those 5-star elite restaurants.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people shot to become 5-star, but the clientele just it changed out so much.
Yeah,
and the industry is it's pricing itself in a different way now. We're finding that we certainly are a specialty restaurant, but we're also people that want to come out and eat restaurant too now.
Yeah.
It's not just, if we do 150 dinners on a particular night, we might have 10 birthdays and anniversaries of 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll also have a lot of people coming out just to get something to eat. And we're finding that it's not just an event night. And price-wise, the price point, you go out to breakfast and it's $25 a head.
Oh, yeah, for sure, all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and, we're looking at chicken for us is, we're trying to keep it in the $25 to $32 range. So, I mean, your breakfast is your eggs over easy.
Yeah.
You pick your financial poison now, because it costs, it's costing more to cook eggs than it is to saute, Francais.
Yeah, yeah. It even costs you more to even cook the eggs at home as opposed to going
Yeah.
somewhere cooking the eggs.
Yeah. So the whole process is changing a little bit. Where we used to be concerned about our food costs. It's the labor cost that kills you now, and finding the right labor in the industry is starting to get tougher.
Yeah, and I think it's tougher. And I've spoken to this fact a few times. I think it's definitely tougher to find the labor because the labor can't live here. It's just not the housing, like in terms of even rentals, buying, owning, renting, whatever. The people that would normally flock to this town to work, and even in the summer, I have people, roommates that have lived here in the past that just came here to work all summer. I had 2 kids from Buffalo, New York, right around my age, mid-20s. They just came for the summer, worked a ton, and then left for the winter, because that's where they make the money. They're going to make way more money here than they were going to make in Buffalo, New York in the summer. But this is unique. Like I was like, yeah, I'm looking for roommates. Like, yep, $600-700 a month, but you can't find that anywhere. There's no place for those those people to live anymore, really, which I think is probably speaks to how it's hard to find that help nowadays. And a lot of these big motels and stuff are buying up some of the outskirts, inns, everything for housing and everything, and they have to. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the product of it nowadays. Part of doing business, I guess you could say, is bringing, and then they bring in more J1s, more H2Bs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you're kind of forced in this area too. Is that we're I know that the Playhouse is going to expand their season, I believe, a little bit, but yeah, we are a seasonal resort, and no matter how hard you squeeze it, Ogunquit, the village of Ogunquit, is probably not going to have more than a 9-month season ever.
Right.
And it's pretty tough to find people that want to make money 9 months.
Yeah.
You can't really make a living 9 months. So when you try to find a chef, or you want to find staff to make their living in 9 months, they can't quite do it.
Yeah. And 9 months is just like recently.
That's
before it was like 6, and before that it was like 3.
Right. It's not 9 months yet. It's going to be 9 months.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably still 7.5 to 8. And so our hardest problem is finding staff in the winter, not in the summer. Our biggest, the hardest part for us.
People like from Buffalo that will come.
Yeah, summertime's way easier to staff than your off season, your shoulder season.
Yeah, we've only got 32 hours or 30 hours a week to work. We don't have 44 hours a week in the winter for people.
Yeah.
We have 30 hours a week, and nobody wants to do that. I mean, unemployment's I can't complete. That's competing with unemployment, and that's a hard thing to compete with.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, since when you guys opened, the change, I'm sure, has been there, because Ogunquit has every single year become more closer and closer to, expanding their season, like every year. So before, like I said, it was like a 3-month season. Everyone was gone by Labor Day. It was like a ghost town. And now it's like, oh, well, we got Ogunquit Fest at the end of October, Columbus Day, Chris by the Sea, like Kenny Bunk's Prelude, those things, and those seasons just seem to stay longer and longer until to a point. But
they do, but you still don't have anything going on Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, you still got 4 days that are, you can go from, doing 200, 250 meals to 4.
Yeah.
And, and that's the extremeness of that is way too demanding. It becomes too demanding.
It's such a huge swing in both ways.
It is.
Yeah.
Bless the H2B program is a great program. It's designed for seasonal areas such as ours, that there just are so many more people in a seasonal time than years ago when growing up, of course, in Ogunquit. We used to where the Oak Key Bank was.
Yep.
That used to be the Maxwell House. That was employee housing. And across the street where the Village Inn was Fernal Inn, and that was employee housing.
Oh, really?
Girls only.
Yep.
I know.
Wow.
I know well. Okay. And we're next to the library. That was Gus Keen's. That was a gas station.
Yep.
And that was employee housing.
Wow. So we're kind of going full circle, going back to...
Right. And the difference is the employees came from Sanford.
Yep.
And they stayed down here for the summer.
Right.
I worked at the Norseman Resort for a long time, from 2015 to like 2021. And when I first started in 2015, even back then, like the change has been pretty crazy. Like it was a lot of Sanford, employees coming down, housekeepers, front desk workers, like people like that. It was a lot of, like, majority of the time we had a lot of people from Sanford, people from inner, Maine, that would make the commute, come down because it was worth it. They were making money. And then over time, noticed like it changed quite a bit. We got more H2Bs, we got more J1s. The Sanford people, they kind of weren't coming down all the way here. Or to be completely honest, it just wasn't reliable work a lot of the time. Like it was crazy. Some of those times, some of the stuff I watched from 2015 till 2018 in high school, like it was like, like this didn't show up, just quit on the spot, stuff like that. So then it transitioned to more Jamaicans coming in, more H2Bs, more stuff like that. So even in that short time period, I feel like I watched that change a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, and there was a time when I think it was maybe after Sanford or they used to come down from the county.
Oh, really?
When they came down from the county, there was about 4 or 5 years where Aroostook County, Washington County would have a lot of people coming down.
Oh, wow.
And they would be a workforce for us. And then they'd leave, at some point, early season, end of the season, a little early because of potato
harvest. Yeah. That's interesting. I never knew that. Like, the county sent a lot of...
We did. We had some county people for a while. And then that was after that, because I remember some of the people that I became friends with that had to go up. They were great. They were great workers, good, And the H2Bs are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just they've become like family to a lot of us now. I mean, they come all vetted. They're really a strong group of people, whether they're from, and we've had people coming in from South Africa, Indonesia, Romania, Jamaica, Honduras,
Mexico.
Mexico. I'm trying to think, Nicaragua this year. Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's been great to get to know people. We had a little staff party last night, and I'm looking around like there's 10 countries represented.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it's like, it's very diverse, and I think it's appreciated for sure. Like, the amount of cultures you get to learn about and stuff. Like when I was at Norseman, we were big in our J1 program, and there was a couple kids that were around my age now. I was in high school then, but they were around their 20s from college and stuff, and they were from, they were all from Romania, Albania, all those countries, and I would hang out with them all the time because I worked for them 40 plus hours a week, and I became friends with a lot of them and got to know a lot about their countries and stuff like that. And it was just kind of interesting to learn for sure.
I mean, I think it's cool also that, we are learning about their cultures here in Maine, but also we're bringing Maine to all of these other countries in the world. Like growing up for me, I was an exchange student. People are like, where's Maine? And like, oh, near Canada, Boston. But now I feel like just talking around the room too, you can hear like, okay, yeah, Maine, like blueberries, lobster, that's getting spread worldwide, through Forbes, but also through word of mouth.
And I think that like, more people know where Maine is now. I think there's more people that are. Maine's got more publicity, I think, the last 5-10 years than ever before. So I think there's more people that are like, we're going to do a vacation to Maine. We're going to do a week-long vacation. Absolutely. We're from Texas. We're going to do a week-long vacation up to Maine. Where 10 years ago they would have done that. We're going to go to California. We're going to go to Florida. Something like that. Yeah. But it's just changed like so much. And I think probably social media plays a lot part into it. Just like the ease of being able to access this information and influencers coming up and promoting it online, so people would see it and like, oh, that's interesting, I want to go there. And that's fed a lot into the success of these local towns like Ogunquit, York, all these fields, Kennebunkport. I mean, Kennebunkport gets nationally recognized all the time for Prelude and stuff like that for sure. Yeah. So I think that speaks. The towns have done a great job of promoting these things. Like Ogunquit Fest is huge weekend. Chris by the Sea, big weekend. Prelude, any of these, even like on the other side, Memorial Day weekend, everything, they always trying to plan these events to help support the town.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And the beautiful thing about that is that we have a beautiful town to support.
For sure.
I mean, that's the key, is the fact that it's and Ogunquit, of course, is a great walking town.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate that, the center of town used to be in the center of town, and now the center of town goes all the way from the Ogunquit Lobster Pound all the way to the Playhouse.
Yeah.
The center of town has got bigger.
Oh, it definitely has. You can,
over the years.
People regularly walk from the center of Ogunquit to Purvis Cove. They'll walk up I know Jerry DeHart's been pushing this recently, the north end of Ogunquit with his condos going up and everything. I hear talk about all the time, the north end of Ogunquit. So it's like it has expanded quite a bit. And like, you look at like, me being in real estate, like you look at homes like way up Captain Thomas Road selling for $1.5 million and stuff like that. And you're like, oh my, that's like a half-hour walk from the center of Ogunquit.
Right.
You're not that close.
Right.
But it's just the way the town is expanding. And if you want to live in Ogunquit's such a desirable zip code for some people, for sure. And the real estate market speaks to that. All the restaurants being full all the time in the summertime definitely speaks to that. So parking speaks to that. It's so exploded so much. We're kind of maybe outpacing ourselves a little bit.
It always balances.
Yeah.
It really does. It always finds the tide. It will. I trust that the town and the village will take care of itself. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. You always have these curmudgeons on Facebook complaining about all, but I tend to agree with that. It's going to balance out somewhere along the line.
Just remember, keep whatever you do inside the building.
Yeah.
Keep it inside the building.
Yeah.
And you won't piss anybody off.
No.
But the minute you start squeezing it and letting it outside the building, so if you walk by and you have to be part of what's going inside the building on the outside of the building, you have a right to be mad.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely seen it be outside the building a couple of times.
Right. And they probably ought to check that.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely going to be a license to restart, to bring some restrictions back in. And if you don't have to have those, if you can self-restrict, if you can license yourself, you're going to be better off.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole community will. So, and it goes through phases. It always has, always will.
Oh yeah, for sure. So in your opinion, what do you think like the golden era of Ogunquit was or is in your time being a part of this town and the community? Is there a favorite era that you have where it just sticks out in your memory?
I think it's yet to come.
Yeah.
I know that growing up, again, when I was young, you did have a 10-week season. You had very few restaurants in Ogunquit. There were very few. Most people don't realize that. But back when you had about 14 to 16 pretty good sized hotels, everything was the American plan. And people would stay here, and they would come, and nobody stayed less than 2 weeks. That was the minimum you stayed. And a lot of people stayed the summer. You think about Barnacle Billy's, and before Barnacle Billy's turned it into a restaurant, my aunt Lillian owned it, and it was called the Brush and Needle, and it sold painting and...
Oh, really?
I don't think I ever heard that story.
It sold painting and sewing supplies.
Oh, wow.
Because people came for the summer, and they would go down and they would paint and they would sew, knit, crochet. That was the clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah,
most people don't. I would say most people that have houses here and everything don't stay the summer. They weekend or it's a week during 4th of July or something like that. And they're up here a lot,
right?
For sure. But it's not like you completely change where you were. Like, you'll come up and stay the entire 10-week summer.
Well, we're going back in the 50s, and we're talking about probably not a lot of air conditioning in the cities. So you're on the southern coast of Maine. Most of the hotels were on the water.
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot of obstructions between the hotels and the water at the time. So people would stay. I just remember I remember so many guests and had lifelong friends that I knew that were, guests of the hotels that our hotel and other hotels, and everybody stayed for 2 weeks, and usually a month. And a lot of people came from New York, Philadelphia. That was pretty common. Washington, D.C. And lots of times it would be the wives, and the husbands would come up on the Fridays.
Okay, yeah, that makes
They
sense.
come up by train, and the train was pretty busy before the train stopped, and in the 60s.
Yeah, okay.
And that was a pretty golden era. There was
And I feel like it gave the town more probably of a community feel year round, because like right now there's still a very tight knit community in town for sure. It's more the year round people, the service industry people, that kind of stuff. But it can get kind of overshadowed by the weekend summer people. But back then, when these people are staying, 10 weeks, you see the same people all summer long. You see the same guests, and you get to know a lot of them, become friends with them too. So it probably gave the town more of a tight knit year round community feel almost.
Correct. That when you're going back when a third of the town worked either Pease Air Force Base or the shipyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's probably true today.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't see much of that going on. And at the time, we had 3 hardware stores in the center of town.
Oh, wow.
We had 3 grocery stores.
Wow.
We had a Pick and Pay, a First National, and then a high-end SSPS store.
Huh.
We had a pharmacy that sold, actually, you could go
pick up your
prescriptions
stuff,
which was wild.
Yeah.
And
I think unheard of nowadays. You wouldn't even think.
Well, I think again, that's regulations changed. I don't know if that came under, it might have come under Reagan, but regulations changed. One of the things that I think changed a lot for us, for the village, regulations changed when they separated. They used to have regulations of pharmacies and post offices, and they were centered in the village, in the town. And when they were centered together in the town, then you had a center of town.
Yeah, okay.
But when pharmacies went into grocery stores, into strip malls outside of town, you lost your town.
Mm.
And that was in the 80s?
And I thought it was in the 70s. Pharmacy was right downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's, yeah. And the post office was there.
Yeah, okay. So the post office was more centered in town.
Was centered in town
now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. Because it's still center.
Yeah. It was more in the center.
It gives it more of I mean, you wouldn't even think about a real chain grocery store or anything being in the center of Ogunquit nowadays. It's, every kind of shop there is these seasonal shops.
Right.
Something like that, So it definitely, and that probably speaks to the fact that people stay there for longer than 2 weeks all summer long. So they need a place to go. And the auto transportation and stuff like that is not as common or
right. There were 5 gas stations in Ogunquit.
Yeah,
there was a
crazy.
Ford
You're
dealership.
not allowed to put a gas station.
There was a Ford dealership. Right, you can. And there was a Ford dealership and a Chevy dealership.
Really?
Wow. It definitely shows these towns being more tight together and close knit.
That was definitely a golden age of a certain age, but it doesn't mean it's the best age. The best age could easily.
Yeah.
The Ogunquit Playhouse putting a $200 million project in there is going to change that place a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It will. It will benefit. It might redefine the town quite a bit, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good definition.
Yeah, it's a transition.
It is.
Always.
It'll be a good transition.
Yeah, and it's funny because even nowadays you kind of forget about the Ogunquit Playhouse a little bit. I feel like not everyone, but
we don't.
You guys don't know. But some someone like me, it's such an internationally known thing. I feel like the Ogunquit Playhouse, it's renowned, and then sometimes it's huge, and sometimes in terms of what I see every day, everything Forbes is recognizing as one of the villages, but there's the Playhouse there, and they don't mention. Oh, they might mention it in the article, but
they don't. They didn't mention any of the hoopla. It was great. It was good not to see that. It was good that they recognized the visual beauty of the town.
Yeah,
and they could get by without looking at the hoopla.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's nice to have all the other stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But it was good to be able to visualize it without it, and still recognize that it's a really nice little town to come to.
Yeah, for sure.
So the age is still yet to come.
Yep.
It made me think about changes, and I remember we used to be, and I want to say this was in the 80s too. We used to be busy every night, used to have a pretty constant business and bar crowd and things going on. And one of the big changes that happened in Ogunquit was cable TV came in. And when that came in, it had a huge impact. And of course, you wouldn't think it would have an impact.
Well, yeah.
But it was huge. People got cable TV and they started staying home.
Okay.
And it took a while to transition people back out. It's kind of like a teenager in their basement. Hey, look at that. Oh, we're in your basement, though. That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That now you just have some form of entertainment at home every night. That,
Right.
you back before cable TV stuff, you went out. You went out. There's nothing to do. You got to go look for entertainment.
You went out.
Yeah.
You went out and socialized. You talked to people.
Yeah.
You played poker.
Yeah.
Once a week,
Yeah.
at least. Or you played cribbage, or you did something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I've never even thought of that before. That makes total sense. For sure.
Yeah. Things were, you played music pretty regularly, or people did. I didn't. I can't sing a song, but.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite like summer that sticks out in your mind? It's like a favorite, season or summer that, you just have, something happened that summer or something,
He's got some tough questions for you.
I know. I'm trying to dig a little deep here.
Summer, you opened the upstairs. I mean, that was pretty big for you.
Yeah, I think, in 1992, I opened the upstairs for music, and that was a pretty scary thing for me because we were, it was a ballroom, and I wasn't sure if it was it wasn't really a music room. It was more of a wedding venue at the time, and that seemed to be the thing that was going on. And we were doing a lot of catering outside, and having an extra 240 seats to pay attention to, with different types of events besides a la carte dining was very different for me.
Yeah.
So, it put me in a different place where I had to think differently and new. As you're creative, I had to be creative in a different way. I did 10 shows that year, and I think 2 of the shows are still with us.
Oh, really?
That's
awesome.
Jonathan Edwards and Tom Rush.
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 that are still with us.
Mm-hmm.
And although Jonathan's not playing,
Remember who else?
John Gorker, I'll have to think. I think Patty Larkin was there that year. There's some people that still. Patty was with us this year.
Drifters, I remember them a little. And
we had
after
and we had some of the 50s bands, the Drifters and the Platters.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those that my mother would like, and
right.
that
They
kind
were
of
very
stuff.
popular.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Have you seen a change in type of shows in music that's most popular at your restaurant from, back then till now?
Our market is, I think you have to look at what market you want, because, we could do shows similar to other places, whether it's in town, similar to other, I could put a roaring piano bar up there, or I could be doing some boogie to you puke music if I wanted, or, or be coppering places in Portland, or be drawing off at people coming out of Burlington at a couple of, but that's not the kind of music that we do.
Yep.
I like to do music that is going to bring people, mostly people that are maybe going to eat and are going to be happy leaving at 10:30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay?
there's a niche for that.
Because that's my demographic.
Yep.
I don't want to be out wondering who's driving home at 12:30 at night, possibly killing somebody's kid.
Yeah.
Those days are long gone. They only lasted for a couple of years in business for me.
Yeah.
Before I said it's really not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Selling alcohol, I like selling 1.4 drinks per person. Okay.
Yeah.
The legal limit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I like selling to people.
Yeah.
I don't like selling 4 drinks to anybody. So that when you say about the music, we've got some great people coming in. We've had we've had a lot of winners in top 10 of The Voice and the American Idol. That's been a really fun group of people to come in because people in the winter are watching their cable TV and they're watching some of these shows, and that's pretty exciting.
Go and see them and stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting to see some of those people, and come out and support them, and they're they don't necessarily make it to the Carrie Underwood level.
Yeah.
But they can make it pretty well up. They can do pretty well, and they can make a dream of living off of their music.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good if you can support people being able to do that. That came up through, say, The Voice or American Idol. So we've got another winner coming in this year. We can't announce today. We can't announce till next week. But the American Idol winner coming back in this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm not sure if we've got any announcements we can make for any new people coming
30
in.
30 shows already booked, but they're not on sale yet.
They're not.
This is for summer 2026.
Yeah.
30 shows.
Already.
Already.
We haven't. They're going on sale this week.
I don't think we got. I don't think I can. Yeah, I better not mention anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to go out.
Well, Tom Raj, she's coming back, and that's that one's an easy one to mention because he comes, every.
Yeah, I know. There was one that we were just talking about the other day that.
No, that one you can't announce till December.
No, there was another one too, but it's there's a lot of these. They like to announce them as a national tour.
Yeah.
So they don't want you announcing until they say go ahead and announce.
Of course,
right.
yeah. And you guys do like the Bob Marley comedian every.
Bob
every
does
year
about 8 or 10 shows a year, so we've got his.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's fun to have Bob. Bob just adds a great flavor to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter what.
I've been to a couple of his shows. He's good. Yeah.
I can sit and I always can listen to Bob. He's over and over. He's just a funny guy. He's a great guy. He's a really great human being. He's a great representative. He's like a lobster and a blueberry for the state of Maine.
Yeah.
Okay. He really is.
Yeah.
He's just a great representation of.
Oh, he definitely is.
Where we live.
Yeah, I've seen him here, and then I've seen him in Las Vegas too.
Finalist, but yeah, I mean, for me too. I've been helping my father do some of the booking over the last couple of years, and it's a good variety, right? We don't want just folk music. We don't want just tribute bands. We don't want just jazz. You got to have a mix, and that's what's going to bring.
Sure, yeah.
And I think we do a pretty good job at that. So we're pretty. We take that into mind when we're booking, and
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are the confirmed, not the.
Yeah, and then you guys, besides that, you guys do your holiday stuff too with the Thanksgiving. Do you guys do a New Year's Eve thing? Did you one last year?
Yeah, we do a New Year's Eve every New Year's Eve. This year we've got
we got a great group.
You're excited about this.
I really am. I don't really know the players, but it's the Rolling Stones drummer, right?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's really a bizarre group of people. Jeff Pitchell. I don't know if you know Jeff Pitchell. Jeff Pitchell is this huge New England blues guy, but he's going to do some rock and blues. But he's in with some huge band members. He used to be with Texas Flood, and now he's got some one-offs that he's put together for this one event or a few events that he does.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
The saxophone Rolling Stones. What the guy from saxophone from Rod Stewart.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like the Jay Giles band. That's
awesome.
The drummer. Yeah, so there's some major talent there.
That is. That's awesome.
They're doing 2 shows.
Bands for sure.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Awesome.
Josh Blue is coming, and Josh Blue will be good.
Oh yeah, we can announce that one.
What about a guy named Martin? That's not announced yet, is it? Martin, somebody?
Oh no, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. So we'll hold off on that guy, and there's a few others with.
That's awesome.
Paula's coming in.
Yeah, she's coming this year in December, and then
and probably Judy.
Summer.
We haven't talked to Judy Collins. She's hoping she'll be back. There's a lot of different people.
Yeah, no, that's great.
We've had some great weird stuff too happen there too. I think I'm maybe one of the few places where Jay Giles was passed out on stage twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
that's funny.
Yeah, that was during his drinking times.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys do a great job there. I mean, I follow you guys on marketing too, all the social media and everything. I think it's awesome over there, the shows and everything. So it's great. But so we're about an hour. So do you you got anything else you wanna chat about, shout out, anything at all? Any good stories?
He's got lots of stories.
Yeah, I'm sure you got lots of stuff.
Jay Gal's pretty funny. That it's always weird when you have a problem on entertainment. And,
yeah.
But it happens.
You got to improvise once in a while.
We've had some great people there, though. I mean, it's some wonderful people I've had an opportunity to meet. And
that's awesome.
To spend some time with, and some people that I've been and still am very close with over the years with artists that play. But no, I've been great.
Awesome.
Been nice to try my first podcast.
Yeah. Hey, I was excited to have you out here, and it was great. I mean, it's always good having a Ogunquit mind, a local person, a great business owner, on the podcast and just talking about all this. So, yeah, I think that was awesome. And I appreciate you guys for coming out for sure. Good luck with the Thanksgiving meal tomorrow. You guys will be straight out all day.
We will.
Yeah.
And then just ramping up for the 50th,
So this is the 50th season next year.
Yeah.
Okay. So the big 50. Wow.
Big 50,
that's awesome.
So.
You guys are going to have a great season, I'm sure, with that.
Yeah. It's a long time in this industry.
Yeah, it is.
One owner.
And it shows, longevity, because usually, the first, a lot of these businesses, they go from different owners and time to time they go out, so that's impressive. 50 years, one owner, doing it right the whole time. So that's awesome. That's an impressive feat for sure.
It is. It's huge.
So, and hopefully 50 more years to come after.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's, that things are changing, but,
yeah,
I think there's less locals in Ogunquit now. So it's important that whatever locals are left, that they hang tight.
Oh, for sure.
And they do what they can. I'm trying to think, because, you got Mac.
Yeah. You got Max over at Levitt. You got the Higgins, Heather and Kelly and Jen up at Clay Hill.
Mm-hmm.
You do. And you've got, and
Sarah Beachmere.
Yeah. Beachmere, Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got Nick and Ose.
Yep. Nick knows those guys.
Really?
They moved from, where they used to be at Main Street, Valerie's, but, they're still local, and it's, it's great to see that.
Yeah. No, it is great to see that. I always promote.
There's not many of us left.
No, there really isn't. You really start to think about it. I mean, a lot of these places, owners come and go and everything, but I'm excited that there's still a strong base of you guys around there. And hopefully, people keep doing that from, here on out, something like that happens.
And I don't mean to discount people that aren't local.
Oh, no, for sure.
But I think it's important that we hope that that the locals are recognized somehow in their longevity and being able to still go ahead and do what they do, because it's not because of the money.
Yeah.
Because if you're in it for the money, you'd owe 12 McDonald's.
It's not because it's easy either. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the money is the easiest. I had Steve Einstein on the first couple episodes I had too, and he was great talking about all that stuff. But another just like local guy that just had, different businesses and ran great businesses that were so popular during his time and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I love it. I appreciate talking. I'm trying to have Max on. I've been talking him up for the last couple of months to get him to come on here. I've had, Max, Ricky Dolliver, I'm trying to get come on too. Bunch of those guys, just trying to line them all up and get their schedule straight, but he'll come in time for sure. So awesome. All right.
What else? That's it. I do know that my mom and dad are the reasons that they haven't zoning against animals in Ogunquit.
Oh, really?
Because we used to have across my hotel next to the library, we used to have a
big farm in there.
We had a farm in there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the town didn't really love that. I remember.
I can't imagine.
I remember one day my dad coming home, and he had I think it was a 57 Pontiac convertible.
Yeah.
And he had a donkey in the back seat with the top down. And
one of the stranger stories I hear continuously is the guy from Hollywood that lived in Ogunquit back in the day that had the lion with the that was in the the lion in the beginning of movies sometimes that roars.
Yeah.
I've heard that story where he had the lion. He had it in Ogunquit for a little bit
Really?
too. Yeah. I've heard that story from my grandmother, and then I've heard it from Charlotte Traeger.
Charlotte,
for over the historical side. I've heard that was in Ogunquit for a short time period, I guess, which is funny to think about.
Well, your grandmother has a lot of knowledge.
Oh, she really does. I'm gonna like have to pressure her to come on.
I
here
don't,
at some
I
point.
don't know that she'll share all of it.
I know.
Because she's,
I want to try, yeah, and I'm trying to have people, you know, from like you guys' generation stuff on
Right,
here
it's
to like put
important
this
to-
into some kind of a footage and stuff like that. And some Kevin Freeman in York, he's a big historical guy in York, has been doing it kind of with a couple of guys
Yeah.
too, just kind of getting it all recorded and everything because you know this knowledge and this like stories and everything is so important. I feel like for you know the future of all these towns and to relive the past and stuff. So
once it's gone, you'll never get it.
well, exactly. It's the same thing. You know, once it's gone, you're never going to hear about it. You know,
Yeah,
and you
it's
can do all the digging and all the reading you want on all the old stuff, but when you hear it straight from the mouth, of somebody that lived it and was there, it's great. So
There's some really funny stories. There really
oh,
are.
I imagine for sure. So
I've been
awesome.
just walking around voice recording him.
Yeah.
In the restaurant. Tell me about this painting.
Yeah.
What happened here in this corner?
There's so many. Like I used to work at the Norseman. There was this old plumber there named Richard Stevens.
Richard, sure.
Richard, and he worked there forever.
Yeah.
And we would drain the buildings all the time in those coming out of summer. We drain them to shut them down for the winter. And
Right.
he knew he couldn't go into the building anymore, crawl anymore. I know he's like pushing 90, 85 years old, something like that. So he'd sit outside the little crawl space, and me and my coworker Dustin would crawl into the building, and he'd be yelling at us from outside, and he would know like where we were. And
Right.
Look above your head. There's a valve right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, sure enough, there's a valve right
That's
there. He's like,
awesome.
twist that valve. Now keep crawling, twist
Yeah.
that one, do that one, and we're writing this down. We're like, Richard, when you're gone, we're gonna be
Right.
screwed without like being
Yeah.
able to drain all these buildings and everything. So, there's so many examples of that of everything, but we taped all the valves with orange tape. Like it's just a funny
Yeah.
thing to do, but
It's so true.
yeah, so it is true. But no, I appreciate
You know the stories of the Norsemen and my track coach that owned it, right?
Carl Merrill.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I know some of them.
He was my track coach.
I heard a lot about Carl Merrill when I was there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I've heard a few different ones, and I've experienced some myself too, mainly with Richard, but there's just so many just instances. I mean, he was a funny guy. He just passed away this year.
Yeah.
But there are so many stories in him, just the different things that went on there. And even when I was there, I went on there, I was like, oh my God, this place is hilarious. But yeah, so
Awesome.
great.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Maybe someday we'll have to do this again, but I appreciate you guys are coming on from Jonathan's again. So Jonathan's Restaurant. Go visit them. Their 50th season is this summer. So go see a show. They got already 30 booked and many more to come. Check out their website, check everything out. And yeah, thank you guys again.
Thank you. Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
It's a pleasure.